ever since the day that Ukraine was invaded, I've been grieving. I've been grieving for the citizens of Ukraine. I've been grieving for humanity. And personally, I've been grieving because Ukraine is one of the countries that my ancestors come from. And I wanted to do something. We all feel so helpless. But I wanted to do something that was an expression of all of our grief, and that was a little bit of a palliative for me emotionally. So I will always be grateful for many, many people that contributed to today's service, their talents, their expertise. I'm sure I can speak for all of us, and we're all very grateful. Right now, it gives me incredible personal pleasure to introduce my beloved piano student, Sofiya Doroshenko, and her family is from Ukraine, and I am so honored that she was able to be with us with her mother, Yulia, and she is displaying great personal courage. Most of their family is in Ukraine right now, and of course this is a very uncertain time for the family. But she's going to play a piece by Schubert, which I thought was particularly appropriate. This is one of Schubert's last pieces, but it's not really that passive or resigned. It kind of rails against, it's kind of an existential piece and shows great strength. And also, Sofiya is showing great strength and courage for agreeing to be with us this morning. At the conclusion of her performance, she also has prepared a few words to address to you, and I'll accompany her on the podium while she speaks to you. But please give a warm welcome for Sofiya.
First off, I want to thank everyone for inviting us today. I can speak for the whole Ukrainian community when I say that we are immensely grateful for all the support that Ukrainians have been receiving. Your help is what gives us hope that we can win, that the people responsible can be put to justice, and that the citizens of Ukraine can have their whole realities destroyed by something that no one should have to go through, and that they can get their lives back. I was born and lived in Ivano-Frankivsk, one of the large cities on the west of Ukraine. I remember that city as being beautiful, with painstakingly crafted architecture, the bustle of life at every corner, with the chatter of old friends seeing each other, with the joy and happiness of people simply living life. All of that was wiped out in one night, February 24th, 2022. One person and the barbarians that he commands were able to destroy the lives of millions of people. Our family and friends are currently living through that new reality. There are sirens that they hear every day and night, warning them that these could be the last moments that they are together. Ukrainians have a long, wonderful culture and identity, and that is under attack, like the nation of Ukraine. We hope and pray that there are peace-loving Russians who have been tragically misled by propaganda. However, like the evil mythology of the Third Reich, the horribly false idea that Ukrainians aren't a real people and that Ukrainian nationhood is an artificial construct has long been mainstreamed in Russia. An article in this week's Wall Street Journal analyzed the Russian hostility to Ukrainian aspirations in Russian culture, literature, and politics. At a reading in 1992, less than a year into Ukraine's long-sought existence as an independent nation, a young poet in the Soviet Union, Joseph Brodsky, offered a new poem titled To the Independence of Ukraine. Brodsky went on to predict that when what he described as ungrateful Ukrainians were wheezing under deathbeds, they would surely revert to reciting the verse of the classic Russian poet Alexander Pushkin rather than the lies of their own national poet, Taras Shevchenko. The article goes on to describe the specific negative depictions of Ukraine in Russian politics and in its culture. Not all, but many Russians have been raised with propaganda to have a hostile view of Ukraine. Some of them denied the existence of Ukraine as a people, denied the fact that Ukrainians have their own identity, own language, own traditions. In 2014, Putin went as far as to seize Crimea. It happened right after Ukrainian protesters in Kiev went against the pro-Russian President Yanukovych, who has destroyed the country's policy towards integration with the European Union and wanted to create a tie with Russia instead. My grandmother, a doctor, lives in Ukraine and wants to stay for those who need her help due to Russia's brutality. My other family member, also a doctor who remains in Ukraine, told me that he goes to work and the Russians are shooting. He goes home from work and they're still shooting. How much more do Ukrainian people have to suffer to have their long-sought freedom, to have a right to something that every person is born with? This war has turned bustling cities into deserted ruins. This war echoes the silence of killed people. This war leaves children without families or anyone to care for them. How many people have been trapped, tortured, or killed? How many people had to hide in the safety of shadows for weeks to avoid the savageness of Russian troops? Ukrainians defend their freedom to live, to love, to for once be able to live freely in our land. We are fighting Russia, which brings horrible silence with its bombs. Help fill the silence with life again. Support us in any way you can, as you have already been doing. And then peace will come. To all our cities the war is destroying, Chernihiv, Kharkiv, Volvohaka, Bucha, Mariupol, and others, they are legends already. But I have a dream of them living and being free. Free like you, sitting before me. Thank you so much.